I, once again, in just a matter of days, have to step outside the Alien universe once again, and discuss some pretty major news that just came out via an announcement on Twitter this morning. And that is the announcement trailer for the previously untitled Cold Iron Studios Alien MMO game. Not only did we get the title announcement, but we also got to learn so much more and see so much of what this game is. So the game is called Aliens Fireteam. And today I want to break down the trailer for the game for you all, as well as the website that they released alongside it, that Cold Iron Studios launched for the game, and analyse everything we possibly can. Just before I do though, I want to quickly go over the basic information we got from the game's webpage. So from the first page, after we enter our details, we find that the game will be released across the two current console generations, on both PlayStation and Xbox platforms, as well as on Steam. The game is, as I quote, set in the iconic Alien universe. Aliens Fireteam is a cooperative, third-person survival shooter that drops your fireteam of hardened Marines into a desperate fight to contain a xenomorph threat. Play a pivotal role in the epic events that occurred 23 years after the original Alien trilogy as a colonial Marine stationed aboard the USS Endeavour, battling terrifying xenomorph threats, facing overwhelming odds against over 20 different enemy types, including 11 different xenomorphs along the evolutionary scale from facehugger to Praetorian, each designed with their own intelligence to ambush, outsmart and eviscerate multiple vulnerable Marines. Choose from 5 unique classes: Gunner, Demolisher, Technician, Doc and Recon, each with their own special abilities and character perks. Utilise an extensive arsenal of 30 plus weapons and 70 plus mods and attachments in your effort to eradicate the alien threat. So just from that, I want to point out that it does sound like our main hub world, if you could call it that, is going to be the USS Endeavour, where we will then travel to what you'll find out to be the planet and the station or the orbital refinery in the story of the game. Also, I wanted to quickly note that it says that we will have 20 enemy types, including 11 different xenomorphs. That leaves at least 9 enemy types unaccounted for. We do see what I think is going to be a couple of those other ones in the trailer, but that doesn't account for all of them, so it's going to be very interesting what else we're going to have to face in this game. The game's trailer and page both state that the game will be released during summer 2021. So realistically, within the next 3 to 6 months. Not that long, all things considered. But with that, it's now time to begin breaking down the trailer.
There are some places in the universe.
I've got movement. I've got movement! I've got movement!
You don't fight alone.
Our first scene shows us a group of 3 characters moving into a dark room with their flashlights. We are notified by the text at the bottom left of the screen to be in orbit around the planet LV-895 aboard the Katanaga refinery on the 7th of May 2202. LV-895 is a planet orbiting the star system HIP 53020, approximately 22.6 light years away from Earth on the frontier of explored space in the Middle Heavens region. The next shot shows us the inside of a xenomorph hive. However, it's uncertain if this hive is on the station or on the surface of LV-895 or its moon. From the trailer, the next moment we see, we can begin to put together that Aliens Fireteam will be a 3-player multiplayer game, as we repeatedly can continue to see about 3 characters. Another quick flash of the hive is given before cutting to the refinery where the xenomorphs appear to already be present aboard it. Another shot of the hives moves past as we see the refinery again as the 3 characters become surrounded in the dark by an infestation of xenomorph creatures, closing in on them from every angle. As we come back from the faded black, we start to see some real action as xenomorphs from the hive begin to attack the players in a variety of locations as they blast back against the Scourge in the fight of their lives. Xenomorphs in the dozens hunt our characters as they struggle to survive. We find our point of view fixed down a long hallway in the refinery, presumably. We see cargo, possibly a ventilation system on the left, and a quite large-looking xenomorph, very reminiscent of a big chap drone. It's large, it's tall, it's relatively slender, very imposing, and very fast. Our next glimpse of the story shows us an entrance to what appears to be some kind of temple-like structure buried deep underground. Likely this area would be on the surface of LV-895, or probably more fittingly, below the surface, with xenomorphs flooding out from it wherever it is. We proceed to get shots of massive hive growths in the refinery facility and more presumably within the temple structure. We jump between these two locales as we see the players utilising a number of advanced weaponry, appearing to be the most current 23rd century versions of the good old pulse rifles of the colonial marines in years gone by. Something else that becomes apparent is the ability to customise your character. We see a number of hairstyles, outfits, technologies and faces on the playable characters. We see explosives and incendiary units being used to wipe out waves of xenomorph Scourge. In comparison to the big chap-like drone I described earlier, the waves of these other xenomorphs appear to be much smaller and quadrupedal in stance, with the high possibility being that they are in fact runner drones. What somewhat confirmed this for me is the shape of their barbed tails, sharing much more in common with a runner than a regular human-spawned drone. We eventually see a very quick glance at what appears to be a Praetorian xenomorph. This one looks like it is quite young and in the process of growing or molting from a warrior into a Praetorian guard. I believe this is because the creature's dome, whilst appearing rigid like a warrior's, has begun to grow outwards to form a small crest. This will mark the first time in canon that a Praetorian has been seen in action. A notable exception is that of the ones seen encountered by Zula Hendrix during the comic series Aliens Defiance. However, those are on the pages of a graphic novel. These ones will be coming for your blood. Our very next scene shows us another of the many threats we will have to face during our time as a colonial marine. As you probably can tell from the patches on these individuals' shoulders, these people are either the employees or property of Weyland-Yutani. They could be androids, however I am inclined to believe that they are actually Weyland-Yutani PMCs, otherwise known as private military contractors. Basically, they're a corporate army under the control of Weyland-Yutani. But it's also possible that they are the similar, yet slightly different, Weyland-Yutani commandos, however a more modern iteration of them. Either way, it appears that Weyland-Yutani has some vested interest in LV-895 and the xenomorph creatures that have infested its surrounding space. It might be possible that they were the ones who first created them aboard Polar Station, events which are to be set up in the game's prequel novel titled Alien Infiltrator. If that's true, then it's possible that Polar Station could have crashed into LV-895, releasing a horde of creatures onto its surface. Or it could be just as likely that the materials studied aboard Polar originated from the temples on LV-895. While the how and the why is uncertain, where there are aliens and aliens' materials and technology, Weyland-Yutani cannot be far behind. The trailer continues to show us just how extensive and large the hive has become as our players fight through countless alien creatures. Another scene gives us a look at LV-895 from orbit, as well as a small external section of the Katanega orbital refinery. and the moon of LV-895. We return to the interior as we see Marines running down a hall of the orbital facility, and xenomorphs running through an observation bridge, possibly the same one that we had just seen externally a few seconds prior. We see them crawling and sprawling all over the tall walls and columns of the temple. And then we get an up-close and personal look at a xenomorph overmorph as a facehugger begins to hatch within it. Moving on to the next scene, we see a facehugger make an attempt to impregnate one of the players as they desperately attempt to remove it, with the assistance of one of their fellow Marines. Likely meaning that there will be a mechanic within the game where you can fight off an advancing facehugger before it has successfully been able to attach itself and implant you. The very next scene shows us the first alien warrior type that we have seen, presumably. I don't think I've seen another one in the trailer before this point, shown by its rigid dome and more muscular appearance than the other creatures. It seems like it will be a more rare encounter, but more common than that of the Praetorians. We see its impressive strength and size in the next moment of the trailer, upon it lifting one of the Marines into the air. And in the very next scene, we get to see a fully grown Praetorian in action. This might be the creature from earlier, or it could be another one entirely. Either way, it would appear to be fully grown and ready to defend its hive and its queen. It charges directly at the players, suffering light damage, as it quickly advances on them, ready to strike. We see more carnage briefly as a warrior impales one of the Marines. The next segment of the trailer shows a variety of text reading out "Survive the Hive," with quick flashes of the hive itself complementing the video's instructions, eventually getting to the deepest recesses of the hive as we enter its overlord. The monarch of these demonic xenomorph creatures is revealed, the Queen Xenomorph herself. Another fade to black occurs as the trailer finally reveals the name of the game, Aliens Fireteam, giving us a release date window as well as listing all the platforms we can expect to enjoy this game on. And with that, the trailer comes to a close, and I myself, as well as many others, are surely left in awe and pure excitement at the fact we are getting another Alien video game. And from the looks of the game in the first trailer, I am very excited indeed. I do have to quickly talk about some screenshots, but just before I do, with the expansion to the lore that this will bring to the Alien franchise, along with an action-packed, tense thrill ride of fun, I simply can't wait for summer 2021. To put it lightly, it's going to be a very long 3 to 6 months. But just before I go, we can glean a little bit more information from what we see in the screenshots on the Alien website. Two in particular that I wanted to focus on. One shows what appears to be a runner drone xenomorph in frame, and behind it is a couple of synthetics. Now, it is hard to be sure, but these synthetics look very similar to the ones found aboard Sevastopol's station, known as Working Joes, specifically the maintenance variant of the androids. If this is true, could we see the return of these androids, as well as the Seegson company within the game? Well, only time will tell. And one last thing I noticed amongst the screenshots was that there is yet another new type of xenomorph hidden within them. Well, not exactly hidden, it's sort of there, but you do have to look through the website to find it. The Xeno is quite reminiscent of some older Xeno designs from the now non-canon Alien game, Aliens Colonial Marines. It appears to be some kind of xenomorph capable of collecting or pulling its acidic blood within pustule growths on its body. What they can be used for has yet to be seen, however I think it's rather likely that these pustules will be able to be ruptured by the creature itself in a controlled fashion, allowing them to bathe their enemies in thick acidic sludge, acting as a very dangerous and very deadly weapon against their prey. But that is everything I found in the trailer and on the website. And remember, as soon as there is anything new, put out on this game, I will be right on it for you all, making sure I bring you every piece of alien information I possibly can. Before you go, I wanted to let you know about the ACHERON Colonial Marketplace, the one-stop shop for all Project ACHERON merchandise. All proceeds go to fund our future endeavours under the project, so if you want to support the channel and look good doing it, pick up some ACHERON merch. But what other data logs would you like to see? If you have any ideas or have any questions to be answered, please leave them in the comments or contact me directly through the Project ACHERON Discord. If you enjoyed today's segment, please leave a like and share the video. And if you really want to support what we do here and gain access to a bunch of awesome rewards, consider becoming a Project ACHERON channel member, like Project Director Chris Dasinger and team member Raunchy. I hope to see you all here again very soon, but until then, this is the ACHERON Project signing off.